What's up, everybody? We are live here at the Business Temple podcast where we talk about the union of ancient philosophy and modern business. This is your co host, Super Alex.
And your co-host Super Ray, ready for the day. And I'm
Ooh,
so excited for what we have in store for everyone today. But before we get started, everybody, please click that like button, smash that subscribe button, and make sure to never miss an episode of the Business Temple. You can also click on that bell to notify you when we go live. We are live every single Saturday,
that's right.
9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. So get get your subscribe on, keep stay here with us, and welcome to the Business Temple. Let's get this
That's
going,
right.
brother.
Get your subscribe on. I love that. Finding creative ways to get people to subscribe. But hey man, it's a fun gig. And over here, like what Ray said, every single Saturday, hyping you guys up for Saturday, making sure you don't miss a beat, keeping yourself sharp, because that's what entrepreneurship really is all about. It's a tough it's a tough landscape out there, and we're out here as well, get dispensing out the information, the insight, and the wisdom as well. Get on our socials. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, and we out here. We're about to go to church right now, man. What are we going to talk
Let's
about?
go. Let's go. Today we're going to talk about how to identify your niche.
There you go.
Okay. How to identify your niche? Niche is something that comes up from time to time. The advice you get from all these business owners is like, find your niche. That's where you need to thrive in. Your niche is the bread and butter of what makes your business, and that's constantly what I hear. I want to get different opinions on this. I want to see, Alex, if you think the question I'm going to ask is very philosophical and Shakespearean. To niche or
Okay.
not to niche? That is the question.
That should have been the title of our episode. Oh my god. To niche or not to niche? And it's such a valid question as well, bro,
Yeah.
because right now there's versatility is being pushed in the market as well. But for startup entrepreneurs specifically, is it more, is it just better to start off with a niche, or how versatile can you get in the beginning? So we
Mhm.
will be answering all of these questions. I'd like to share some of my personal experiences as well, being finding a niche and now being more versatile in my own niche as well. So
Mm.
that's where I'm coming from, man. I've got a couple of stories to share with this, and I think I'd like to start with one of the best examples that I can give about finding a niche and versatility as well. Think about Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee, a lot of people would consider him as the father of mixed martial arts, because not only did he practice like Wing Chun, he also studied other martial arts styles and applied that to his own style, therefore
Mhm.
kind of combining a lot of martial arts. And he's famous for the saying, you know you take what you need and use it, whatever you don't need, discard it. And so mixed martial arts in that versatility became a niche of its own, as you know today.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
So it's got, I think, a niche. It's got to have a combo of versatility in it, because like if you're just strictly specialized on one thing, I think one of the disadvantages then, especially if you have a niche market, is that your customer base won't, it won't be as vast as other companies who are not totally with specializing in that niche market. But
Mm.
that goes to say that's not a bad thing either. Then that means you just have a loyal customer base. But there's a lot of pros and cons to it, man. But what do you think about that, Ray?
I I get it. And when I think about finding a niche, I mean, I'm all over the place on this one, by the way. I'm not really
Okay.
hyper focused because the more I learn about niches and the more I think about them, I think about my own field of creativity, which is, of course, marketing and public speaking. But I'm a marketer
Mm-hmm.
and public speaker, and I can marry that. Something similar to what you said is like trying to find different fields and then trying to create something that is unique. and a unique value proposition is always intriguing and
Yeah.
valuable to other people out there that might be interested in what you have to deliver and sell. So the way I look at a niche is more like a narrow road or fishing in a smaller pond than thinking of the world as a bigger ocean where it's easier to catch fish in a bigger pond. But if you have a small bowl, small pond with a bunch of fish in it, you can choose from whatever you want. But if it's like a big pond and not that many fish in it, it doesn't matter how big the pond it is. It just depends on how many people are interested in it. Because it really just, the way I think about it also is like the way that you craft your environment. If you only have one road to get to the same destination, and I think if that one road fails, then what's left? If this is your only niche and this is the only thing you do, let's say for example NFTs.
Okay.
NFTs was big at one point. If your sole income was NFTs and now it's on a downtrend and that's all you've made, like where do you go from there? That was your one thing. You have nothing else. So now you haven't diversified yourself enough to protect yourself or future-proof yourself if you stay on that one lane. I think when it comes to niche, you need to make sure that you evolve it into something different, as it evolves. Being in the public speaking space and then like the self-help space, I feel like it hasn't changed over the years, but it is crying out for help. It is crying out for something different. And I feel like it has been on a downtrend just because of that very reason. We haven't learned how to evolve. The best books that still get recommended is How to Win Friends and Influence People by
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. It's like, come on, we need a refresh. We need something new. And that's time. That's what I bring. That's kind of like the niche I bring when I tell people what I do, and in terms of my business. Oh, are you a motivational speaker? Are you a life coach, which is very broad too? I tell them no. I help people become better speakers. I'm a public speaking coach. That's what I do. That's my lane. That's my niche. That's exactly what I do. I mean, whatever comes of it afterwards, it's a product of that service, but this is my lane.
Exactly. And at least at least being aware of that lane, to stay in your lane too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Exactly, bro, because it could be a long and winding road. You could be going left, going right, reverse, forward. You know what I mean? There's a lot of paths to take,
and then people don't know what you're doing.
Being aware of that, yeah, right. Just being aware of where your lane is, what your lane looks like. I think it's very, very important. And I love your example about the fishing, the fishing thing in a small pond. And to kind of build off that, say you are in a big pond, I think niches as well can come in like what bait you offer. There's a lot of ways to think about a niche, but coming from what Ray and I are talking about, I believe that as a startup entrepreneur, I think it's definitely important for you to find a niche first and then find versatility within that niche. Not like I'm versatile because I have many niches. You know what I mean? Then I don't think that is a niche in itself. Find a niche and become versatile at it. For example, I work in the coaching industry, which is such a broad, what do you coach about? Who do you coach? Stuff like that. So I do specifically stress management coaching for entry-level professionals and executives. That's my lane. Okay. So what's versatile about that is not only do I do one-on-one coaching, I can do group coaching. I can do corporate training. I could do online coaching. I could do face-to-face coaching. I could speak to maybe 500 people and make that stress management thing a public speaking engagement. So there's versatility in the revenue streams of my niche. And I think that's very important that Ray pointed that out earlier with the NFTs example, because if you just have that one thing you got going for you and you never know what's going to happen, that could be pretty bad. So find versatility within your niche. I think it's a very strong piece of advice to give here. Different revenue streams and versatility within that niche. I think you'll have a lot more creative freedom as well on how to flip how to flip something that you have already been working on, how to get a fresh new pair of eyes to take a look at your business model, or whatever product or service that you're offering, and then be like, hey, you know what, how can I push this into the market in a new way, or how can I create a different revenue stream from what I already have. So
Mm.
I think that's one of the best ways to go, really, as a startup entrepreneur. Find that niche and then just get versatile with that, not the other way around, where you're versatile because you have a lot of niches. But I don't know, what do you think about that, Ray?
Well,
Where's your head at?
my head is I get it, and my question to you would be, because I
Hmm.
saw recently, I mean, doing a little bit of research on this, a video of Gary Vee sitting in the back seat of the car talking to a student that just graduated, and he was talking about niches, and he said something along the lines that people are too concerned of like what niche they're going to do, when they should think broader, and then the niche being you are basically the product, and you are the
Mm-hmm.
niche. There's only one of
Mm-hmm.
you. You are, and if you're an entrepreneur or solopreneur, you are essentially the niche product of what is being
Right.
offered. So if, let's say, you do have this thing but you don't showcase other aspects of your life or your business or your interests, now you become like, you stall. Because if, let's say, you watch a celebrity that you enjoy watching, and the only thing you know
Mm-hmm.
about the celebrity was through the movies and the acting, and then they only did that kind of role in the same movie, they don't have any versatility to them. I mean, it just kind of gets a little dull, in my opinion. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you want to know who are they dating, who, what are they wearing, where are they going, things like that. Like, there's so many other aspects. What kind of instrument they play, do they have kids,
Yeah.
things like that. Like, that's something that, okay, well, this person's an actor, an actress, or whatever they may be, but they have all this other stuff going on in their life that I'm also interested in. So in that case, like, what do you see, like, uh, or what do you think about that?
What that reminds me of is branding and humanizing your brand.
Hmm.
Like, for example, if you see me on Instagram, and I'm posting every morning or afternoon about some motivational shit, and that's all you see about me. But then I think what you're trying to get at here is, showcase a little bit more of what other parts of your personality that you have to offer, that is connected to what you're pushing out there.
Hmm.
And that really reminds me of humanizing. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's humanizing your brand some more, humanizing you as a niche some more, because I think when you humanize something, it obviously a lot of people can relate to it more, can connect and resonate to it more. And that's something that you're going to want to do with your brand, your niche as well. Because, like, for example, me coaching in the stress management industry, people see me doing that. People see me talking to executives, a couple hundred people. But what's that about, really? What does it feel like to coach someone? What does it feel like to be in a stage talking to a couple hundred people? What do I do with my own stress? You know what I mean? I think that's a great way to put it. Am I understanding that correctly, Ray?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, what's
There you go.
behind the scenes?
Mm-hmm.
What makes the man? Because when someone is purchasing a service, let's say in the service industry, like, they want to know like who this person is, more so than what kind of content they're here to deliver. Because you can get any type of or this content online. You could do a Google search and then automatically find all the answers that you need. I mean, there's ChatGPT, who is
Yeah.
changing the game. There's so much information out there, and if you're in a service industry, people are going there to see you, who the type of person that you are, not necessarily what the product is. It's different when you're selling a service or a product, because
Yeah.
if you are the brand, if you are creating your business, and you're the entrepreneur, you're the face of this company, there's a level of expectation that is expected, I guess, from your audience, from the people that are buying into your service, or doing
Mm-hmm.
anything. And I would say, yeah, it's nearly one and the same. But going back to the whole niche thing, is it's like, take mine for example. When I decided to start Your
Mm-hmm.
Voice New York and start my company, I deleted, basically not deleted, but like, I removed everything that I would I would consider that is not conducive to the
That
stage
niche.
of my
Yeah.
life or what I want to get to. But I still include things a part of my life. But it was kind of like leaving that identity behind, creating this new identity, and showcasing the things that I want to showcase in a way that is conducive to what I'm trying to do. Because I show videos of me partying on my
Yep.
on my Instagram, on my business Instagram. I show videos of me having fun, show videos of me doing all kinds of things, but that's who I am as a person in the brand. And this is kind of like what I bring to the table, even within my business. So for me, that's what I think about. And in the case of Gary Vee, when he was talking about, he says,
Hmm.
even in his account, he shows of him videos of him doing garage sales and things like that, like
Right.
things that humanize him. So it's, for me, it's one and the same. It's the life I live. This is my reality. This is the reality that I want for you. I think people should always be their authentic self. That's something that I always preach. They should always be you, no matter who, whatever anybody tells you. And I think there's a love for that. There's a love for authenticity. There's a connection there with other human beings when they see that this person isn't just out to, let's say, sell the service or sell this money.
Yeah.
They're actually truly passionate about what they do. They're truly passionate about helping people, like we are here at the Business Temple, truly
Absolutely.
passionate about helping
Absolutely.
people become better business
We out
owners
here.
and teaching them through philosophy, because it's the best way to make those connections.
I
I
love
mean,
that.
I could go on a rant on so
Oh
many things,
man.
but it's the way I feel about it.
I love that. No, I mean, we have answered a lot of stuff. You know, why a
Mhm.
niche is important, how to have versatility in your niche, and with Ray, this was not even at the script at all, and I love it. You know, just
Mhm.
humanizing that niche. You
Yes.
know, and I think it's time that we talk about how to
How?
find it. Like, so what was your kind of like thinking, thought process, creative process into like finding your niche in your business as a public speaker? Because if you say, hey, I'm a public speaker, I'm a motivational speaker, it's such a broad thing to say, you know. And
Very
like,
broad. Mhm.
and I feel like we should share how we got into the space that we are in now, that very narrow space in public speaking and coaching as well.
Mhm.
So,
Mine is easy. I'll it takes 2 seconds and I'll let you go. I
mhm,
sucked at public speaking. I was the worst. I mean, I wasn't necessarily afraid to be out in in public and dance and have fun and to be the
yeah,
life of the party. But when it came to speaking in an audience full of people, or in a business meeting, I would freeze up. I wouldn't really know what to say. I would get flustered, and that was a problem for me. And I fixed it by going to Toastmasters and continuously honing this craft. And then it clicked in my head that I need to help other people. I need to get other people
yeah.
to be better speakers, because from where I was to where I am now, my life completely changed because of public speaking. And I would want that for somebody else. That's short and sweet. The reason of
I love that.
my being and the
It's a
reason of
nice
me
little
saying
elevator pitch right there.
Alex,
I
keep
love
going.
that. I love that, man. So it starts with identifying a problem, then
Mhm,
identifying a solution, and then getting that solution, adding your own flavor to it, and then boom. You
mhm,
know, I love that the problem came from you. You know, a lot of people will try to go out there solve other people's problem. There's nothing wrong with that, but really, it coming from you, now you have control over it. Now you can
yeah,
actually do something about it and see the results for yourself. You
yeah.
know, and I absolutely love that. And then why Toastmasters though? Like, you jumped to the
Ooh.
solution of Toastmasters. Did you have like other choices, or was it just like Toastmasters?
That's what I hate about and then Toastmaster. It kind of monopolized the public speaking
Okay,
type of
that space of,
industry,
yeah,
and you can't mention public speaking without
knowing
having
Toastmasters.
Toastmasters or knowing Toastmasters, or it being in the same sentence, without
Hmm.
knowing the greats like Tony Robbins and things like that. Like that
Yeah.
to me is the whole self help and the public speaking industry is crying out for help. I think so. There's a need for people like myself and people that can actually teach in a style that they understand, and people that are just bring a more modern twist to it, because it needs an update. It really does. and it's
I
not
love that.
just out there to grab money from people. Because my biggest thing was the 9,000-foot wall, which is the $5,000 fees and the $3,000 fees, entry fees to get into these programs. That's like the most scariest thing in the world. It's like telling someone, you can't get over this hurdle, you can't get over this fear unless you pay me this much money.
Yep.
Like this is the threshold that you need to establish, and you need to be this important already in order to be even more important, or something like that. It's just not my style, is never been, not going to be my style, and it's just something that I find fucking ridiculous. I mean, excuse my language, I rarely curse, but it's fucking ridiculous that you have to pay this much fucking money to get for someone to help you in the way that you actually need help. I don't get it. I think it's just mind-boggling to me. And it's not even one-on-one service. It's like, okay, you pay this much money and it's a group thing.
Yep, it is. It is. One-on-one probably costs you 10, 15, double of what you just said, man. But I totally get that, bro. It's a gritty industry. You know, maybe we should do an episode about how to help the self-help industry, man. It looks like you have a lot to say about it, bro. But I love where you're coming from when he says, you know, that shit needs an update.
Yeah, it does. It does. It needs an update. But yeah, man. Alex,
how do I identify the niche?
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So similar to you, except the way I found my problem was kind of not an inward or within thing. So a lot of people who know my story know that all of this actually started on a YouTube commercial. And so I was fucking about on YouTube one day 7 years ago, and I was watching, I can't even remember what I was watching, but then a YouTube commercial came up about this guy talking to, it must have been thousands of people, stuff like that, on how to bounce back from depression, anxiety, yada yada yada. And then to me, that was my light bulb moment. You know, I think I had gone through a lot of stuff in my life, particular things where people would come up to me, ask me for advice. People would come up to me and ask me about how to navigate this particular anxiety or adversity. And so when I saw that man talking about similar things to, you know, thousands of people, I was like, hey, you know what? I can do that too. So I was actually inspired by someone for me to find my niche, because my life had made sense for that niche before then. So that could be one thing for a lot of people.
It's okay, Alex.
I'm about to say his name. I'm just building it up a little bit more. It's Tony Robbins, that guy. Ray kind of already foreshadowed it earlier when he said Tony Robbins. But there you go. That's the guy who kind of inspired everything from my perspective. And from that inspiration, what I did was, and I actually don't recommend this for a lot of people, but what I did was, it was a very, very impulsive decision, because I had the golden handcuffs in my 9-to-5. It was great. Benefits were great. Culture was great. It's just that I was not really dispensing the passion that I needed to dispense in order for me to really optimize my life when it came to that. And so I wanted to be a public speaker. I didn't want to be whatever the fuck I was doing back then. I wanted to be a public speaker, particularly talking about stress management, how to help people bounce back from adversity, anxiety, all that stuff. And so for me, it was about capturing that inspiration and then holding that inspiration and continuing to do something about that inspiration. For a lot of entrepreneurs, I believe inspiration, it's such a fleeting thing. You know, it's something that you gotta like look for every single day, inspiration, motivation, that stuff. But for me, it became an anchor. I was just always inspired. You know, wow. you never found me out there trying to look for inspiration.
What's your secret?
Yeah, I think it's just, once I found that lane that made sense to me, that lane that I connected with, that lane that I felt like my life has equipped me for, I think that would just be it. You know, I don't even know how to explain it in that regard, but it's
I
just
would say it's like finding your wife.
getting a grip. You know, it
It's like
could
you don't
be
want multiple wives, maybe just one.
just one. It could be, man. You know, but for me, it's just, hey, you know what? I found I I consider myself lucky as fuck too. You know, but I did something about that inspiration, and where I'm really trying to get at here in summary. Once you find that inspiration, find a way to anchor it. Don't 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 try to like take the inspiration in small doses. Just take a heroic dose of that shit and then see what happens, what you can do about it, you know? Because that inspiration, if you're continuing to look for it every day, then it's going to be difficult for you, because once you've got an inspiration that you continuously draw from, and you know that you have continuous resource of, then it'll be so much easier for you to find your niche, so much easier for you to work on your niche. All right.
Mhm.
You should, I feel like that's what a niche, how that journey of identifying a niche feels like. It's an inspirational thing. It should not be a difficult thing. At least for me, you know, I didn't really struggle finding my niche. You know, I was happy within that process, within that journey of finding whatever that niche was. You know, I
So
think that helped with the inspiration.
when so let's say if you're not lucky enough to just stumble upon a video that
Mhm.
inspires you to the level that Tony Robbins inspired you, what would you recommend for people to do if they're still struggling to find their niche, or look for? What do you recommend?
Practically,
Mhm.
and I recommend this not just for finding your niche. I recommend this for building startups, uh, putting out business ideas and stuff like that. And you've probably heard about me talk about it in a few episodes. It's called the Lean Canvas.
Hmm.
So it's basically just a one-page business plan wherein you're trying to identify a problem, and then you identify the existing alternatives to that problem, and then you identify whatever solutions you have for that problem, and you also identify what your unique value proposition is as you present the solution to that problem, and then you identify your target audience, what channels to reach your target audience, your revenue stream, and a list of some of your competitors, and lastly your operational costs. So all that pieces of important knowledge in one page, lean canvas. So for me, that's how I also really size up the ideas that I have. Is there a good chance for profit, or a lot of versatile ways that this idea will have revenue streams and this and that. So just having that structure is extremely, extremely important in finding a niche. Knowing that process, and I started with the lean canvas. I still continue to use the lean
Mhm.
canvas today. And you know, one thing that I'm going to tell you, connected to what Ray said earlier, it's just having a fresh look, the self-help industry needing an update. Like, to you entrepreneurs right now, maybe your company needs an update. You know, take a look at that. What I do for my company every 6 months, or at least once a year, I put up a lean canvas for my company. I take a look at the last lean canvas, and I create a new lean canvas from that information. And then going to the new lean canvas, how do I make my company better? How do I update my
Mm.
company? So you're continuously improving. Okay. So I
Mm.
think doing that lean canvas is just one way, one very simple way as well of of just optimizing, and also finding the lane that you want to rock, man.
Yeah. Well, Alex, you're the one that introduced me to the lean canvas, and I was the one that kind of looked at it and was like, "Wow, where has this been all my life?" It's
Hmm.
something that I think that every entrepreneur should be using, and it's a great tool. And before then, though, I saw it more so from a different perspective, where I would look at things of like, what does the world need, or what do people need, and then start narrowing it down from there. It's like, what do people need? What am I good at? And what can I do to profit off of it? So what can I do to provide a service for the needs of these people? So it was more just linear in that way, where the lean business gets you a little deeper into exactly just the framework of how it's going to happen or how you're going to get from point A to point B, from the idea to an actual business in such a short format that is incredible to use. But for me, the way I thought of it was from the beginning is like, more people need this kind of service. This is something that could really help some people, and many people. And then I myself was like, am I good at this? Am I good enough to even teach this? And then I was like, okay, then this is what I want to do. This is the lane that I'm going to follow. This is what I'm going to choose. This is going to be the niche. And that's how I kind of discovered my format. But
I love that, man.
Very simple, but it does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of self-reflection. It does take a lot of just finding yourself before you can help others. I think that's very important, that you understand who you are as a person before you get into this crazy game we call entrepreneurship. It's not a fun thing for everyone, and you can lose everything in an instant if you don't know what the hell you're doing. So just make sure that you understand yourself, you understand how the game works before you start playing it.
Damn, you left them with something profound, didn't you? I'm not even going to try to top that. But what I will say, though, I believe what Ray's trying to point at is a Japanese philosophy called Ikigai.
Absolutely.
And you'll find that in our selection of videos here on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to us. Make sure to hit that bell button, and explore some of the videos that we have here on YouTube. They're on different topics where we try to keep our topics curated as much as possible. And also, you got to check out our Clubhouse as well, which is actually where the Business Temple started. We are a year and a half in this game, and for I think it was almost a year, we did it on Clubhouse, didn't we?
Yeah. Over a year.
So there are a number. There are a number.
We gotta start putting all our
episodes
episodes on YouTube so people can watch it, and also do more short format stuff. So, I mean, there's a lot of things we got to do, but right now we're just having fun with it, and that's something else that could be like. I mean, we've discovered niche within niches, and like philosophy with business, something that hasn't been done before, and we're doing it. We're killing it, brother.
That's right. And that's something we didn't have on the table when we started this podcast, So basically what I'm trying to say here is ready, fire, aim. And you'll hear Ray say that all the time too, so just take the action, get fired up, do whatever it is you need to do. And then, aim for a better position later on. We didn't start with philosophy and business in the beginning. I think we were just all business in the beginning, weren't we? It was just all business, all personal development. Finally, we found that niche. I think it was a couple of episodes later, or maybe a couple of months later even, where we were like, hey, you know what? I feel good about philosophy and business. Let's marry that. And that's what we made the Business Temple all about. So thank you all for always, sticking around, being with us in our journey, making our journey your journey too. And like I said, here at the Business Temple, we're consistent. Every single Saturday, 9 a.m. PT, 12 p.m. ET. This has been your co-host, Super Alex.
And your co-host, Super Ray. Make sure to subscribe, like, and follow us at the Business Temple. Let's get it. Have a great weekend. Peace.